hard
deep,
question.
Bro.
It's
Diego,
deep.
what the
It's
heck?
deep, but I feel like you have to.
Trust the God that put that dream in your heart.
You know the government's really a game.
Things I appreciate most is what you guys do for the culture.
I just got a positive vibe today, bro.
I'm on my Cat Williams. Do I got to call out names right now? Do I got to call?
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the DTB podcast. If you don't know what our podcast is about, it's about business, entrepreneurship. It's about faith, wealth, and love.
What's up, everybody, man? We're here at the studio. We're getting everything ready, man. We're so happy that, Easter just passed. What a blessing. And we got some of the greatest people representing the city of Lynwood. We got Divine Hustles, Angie, and Alex.
Let's go.
What's up?
Hey, thank you for being here. Divine Hustles in the house. Today we want to hear your story. We want to hear a little bit about the origin. What are you guys doing now? So we do want to get started with what has been your biggest accomplishments in the past year, and what has been the biggest impact you guys have had in the community so far?
Oh, thank you. That's a great question.
To say sorry, but
No, you're good.
the biggest accomplishment is getting incorporated.
Oh,
Getting our
yeah,
paperwork
definitely.
together.
Correct. So anybody that they don't know, Divine Hustles is a non-profit, right?
501c3.
501c3
Yeah.
officially. Okay, because there's a lot of non-profits that never reach that. Actually, it's like getting the license, the barber license.
Yeah.
Like, right?
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. It's a-
Your funding, your grants, that's how you're going to get your money, your donations, your write-offs, and all that type of stuff. So
Okay.
very important.
When did you guys get that?
Dude,
When
it's
was
about
that?
to be a year.
It's going to be a year. We're going
Yeah.
to celebrate a year in the end of June.
The end of June. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. That's dope. Because I do want to start my non-profit too. So it's good to know people that already are going through it.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest accomplishment other than that? The community event that you guys have done.
Oh, my favorite, I'm going to speak for myself, is the back to school one.
Okay.
Back to school,
Mind
for
you,
sure.
our entire concept was look good, feel good. We wanted to be a giant party for the kids to come and get ready for school and not have to worry about, the clothes that I'm wearing, the haircut, like any of that. So we had nail techs do like the gel manicures for the girls. And then we had braiders, we had hairstylists, we had barbers, we had free clothes. There were so many resources there for the students, and it was like a giant party. And we were so nervous because it was our first event. So we thought there was going to be less than 500 people. Tell me why it doubled up. And it was over like 1,200, like 1,300
Plenty
people.
of people.
It
So
was so
what year was
compact.
this? What year was this?
It was when we...
23.
23. And where did it take place? What school? Or
Bayman Hall in
Bayman Hall.
Lynwood.
So
Yeah.
City Hall, Lynwood, they
Yeah.
opened it
City
up to
Hall.
us.
It's a
Yeah,
city
it
hall.
was-
Yeah,
it was-
they came through the city, helped us out. They
how
opened
did-
up doors.
How did you guys get the city hall? How does that process work?
Networking, closed mouths don't get
networking.
fed. So we went and spoke to our people. We told them we want to make a change for our community, we want to support our kids, and they were all for it. So
So what is it, like a petition that you submit to the city hall or
Idea.
idea,
All it was
all
an idea.
an idea. And
Damn.
then we met up, had meetings, made it happen.
So the
That's
give
awesome.
back, I mean, the
Yeah.
give back is a little deeper. It was something she wanted to do for her birthday.
Yeah.
She's like, for my birthday, I want to give back. Like that's the function she wants to have. That's the type
Yeah.
of party, which is a little
Damn.
different. I said, okay, let's try to figure this out.
Yeah.
And we came up with the back to school giveaway. And it wasn't just us, it was everyone. The barbers came through.
Yep.
People were cooking. We had reptiles. We had cars. We had
Yoga,
art,
Lamborghinis
yoga.
pulled up to
It
show
was-
the kids. Like
it was
the kids were
cool.
so excited.
Hey, that sounds
It
like a
was-
great event.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
The food, they were throwing bags of chips and food out the back of a truck. The crowd going crazy for it.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Okay, okay.
I
So
was there, bro. I
You-
was there.
oh, you were- I was just
we
gonna ask you that. I was just gonna ask you that.
But you had to be busy though, because that little spa
Yeah.
area,
Yeah,
cracking.
yeah, so hair. I noticed when they do events like that, the haircut and the manis and haircuts for girls too, crazy pack.
It's
Yeah.
important. It's
Yeah.
important. The
It's
haircut's
important.
very important. The
Mhm.
barbers, much respect to you guys for your profession.
thank
It's
you.
Yeah,
the confidence
sure.
it gives an individual to get out and attack the world.
Yeah.
just the conversations too, like just having. I did one last year too in July with the Children's Bureau in downtown LA,
Okay.
and it was just impacting, bro. You're hearing all these little kids' stories, the dads too,
For sure.
And I know
Definitely.
sometimes they just leave with a word of motivation, and that would change their trajectory,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask, when you plan this event, right? So it starts in your head, right?
Yeah.
The idea is in your head. What are like the next 5 steps you take to take this big idea with many, you say other like people donating, right?
Yeah.
How do you organize it? What are like the next 5 steps? You email people? Do you just send invitations?
This event was a blessing. It was almost like we came up with the concept. We spoke up about it and the community gave us what they could. Everything was through the community. Everything that was donated, everybody participated, volunteered their craft and their time. So just by the grace of their love, that's how it kind of happened. As for reaching out, we got Dadager right here.
Yeah.
So Divine Hustle has been up and running for going on 6 years. We just got the paperwork in to have the nonprofit for a year. So in the 5 years prior to that, it was all networking. We're in the streets, talking to anyone and everyone who likes to share their story of inspiration and following their dreams. So we reach back out to all those people we talked to. We have people come through and perform. People give their time. There was 2 sections of performances. So Omar Solomon, he got his homies and they performed up at the stage at one area. Then the main stage, we had, I think, 4 or 5 different performances and dancers and all kinds of people showed up for that. So it was just reaching back out on all that networking. Networking is important.
Communication is important.
Networking, communication, keeping your word, all that is key.
It's key.
All those people, all of them gave back. Unbelievable. I still can't believe how much was given.
No, I always tell people like, what makes you want to network with another person is the way they operate. So if you see, like you said, if they give you your word, hey, I'll have this by Tuesday, and they have it by Tuesday, you're like, oh, damn, I like how this person works.
Consistency.
There we go. People see that. And I think a lot of people, when they network, at least when I go to events, the main question that people ask is like, how can I provide value to someone else? You know, it's like, oh, like you just gotta go network.
Important.
And oh, how do you network? Oh, you provide value. And then people are like, how do you even provide value? So then I just like, I came to notice that it's just basically you share information with them or you share how you operate business, and they're gonna be like, damn, I want some of that, or I could learn from him too, you know?
Yeah.
So you guys did all the networking.
Yeah.
So the moment you guys wanted to set it up, how long did it take to get these people on board? Like a month, 2 months?
Honestly, if anybody's interested in setting up or hosting any type of community events, I would advise start prepping 3 months in advance, at least 3 months in advance. Reach out to all your vendors, reach out to anybody that you need to make this possible, because it gives anybody that beneficial time to prepare in advance.
Because with the events, like, when throwing events, they don't go according to plan, not 100. So some people said yes and then fell off at the very last day.
So you still need time to reach out.
So you got to reach out, it takes months.
Do you guys have that video right here by any chance?
It's the first post.
The very first one. I think we pinned it because it was
it was so dope. It
was a good day.
This one right here? Let's watch it real quick.
Oh yeah,
those are all the backpacks that got donated to us. Hey, reptiles, screen printing,
the performances.
Grupo, you guys had
clothes,
a grupo
too. Food, school supplies,
diapers. There was
there was so much
more.
more. There was so much more.
I can just see all these backpacks though, bro. All these backpacks are stacked up.
Yeah.
I can just imagine how much, like 500 backpacks.
That's a crazy story too. The day before, oh my goodness. It was only my mom, my dad, my sister, and my cousin. All of us at the city hall packing all those backpacks.
Like at 3 a.m., 2 a.m.
We were there till like night time, and we got there doing the afternoon.
A few hours. We were there for a few hours.
Yeah,
3-4
but
hours.
just packing everything was insane.
It was fun.
So now knowing all this work that goes behind the nonprofits, it's just a glimpse of,
Yeah.
But where did that desire come from? Like, how did Divine Hustles originate then? Like, because I know it has to be more than like the calling has to be big, It can't be just like, oh, I want to do an event for my community. It has to be bigger, because doing all that work, at some point you're just like, in the beginning, I know maybe in the beginning, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys have thoughts where it's like, man, why am I doing this? Like, I could be doing something else maybe. Because you see the time that goes in there. You see.
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah, you're just like, you're like, damn.
What do you mean? I never doubted it.
No,
not doubted, but like, why are we doing this particular?
Like, why have you questioned
Let's shift
like,
this
what's
way.
the bigger picture to this? Like, where are we heading to?
If we continue going just this direction.
Yeah, because
so
6 years,
change it up a little.
6 years is a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and there's plenty of shifts in there.
evolved and
So
it's
that's
shifted
what I
a
mean.
lot.
So walk us through that. How did it Divine Hustles originate?
I mean, there's different perspectives. He got his story and how it started, and I got my story.
And they kind of go together at the same time. So on the block, a few guys wanted to go ahead and start a business, and they decided, let's do clothing. With the clothing brand, we try to push that, and it was called Grimy Hustle.
Yeah.
And it didn't go nowhere because nobody was trying to hustle. Everybody was just, let's just make a brand and be cool. Sit back. We're sitting back with our shirts on, doing nothing.
And you think is the brand's gonna blow up?
It was supposed to do its own thing. And I would say that's a little before even social media was popping off like that with advertising these brands and stuff. So we're a little ahead of the game, but we weren't doing nothing with it. And then it didn't go nowhere. So one day we decided as a family to start an Instagram account that's going to be a positive movement, because I got upset looking at Instagram and social media and people blowing up on there for doing negativity. And with my kids, they were 6 years younger than they are today. Yeah. And I said, you know what? You guys ain't going to be looking at that stuff talking about that's what I'm going to do to become popular, accepted, and all this stuff. And I said, if they're making money doing negative stuff, watch me make some money doing some positive stuff. We put that which was called Straight A's at the time, together with Grimy Hustle. We put those two things together and came out with Divine Hustle.
Yeah, that's kind of like his perspective.
But then it gets deeper than that. So that's just kind of let's say that's the name.
Yeah, so basically what I'm getting is like, because I went through this with the podcast, like, I could make a podcast where like I invite people who like they're just saying outlandish stuff, doing smoking, drinking, and we're talking like our heads off, and I know that could blow up easily. Yes, sir. But then I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to do something professional, something that's gonna inspire people, motivate. Exactly. And that's harder though.
Yeah, it is.
It's harder
because people don't want to watch that. People want to watch all this goofy stuff going around. But I know that if you do build on this foundation, it has longevity.
There you go.
It has longevity.
There you go.
As for my perspective, it began with the injuries. So I grew up being an athlete, and I've always wanted to go to university for a scholarship, you know? And I was in wrestling, and I just wanted to make my resume look a little different. I got too cocky, and I was using my back for everything instead of focusing on form. And it resulted into a spinal injury. So I had a herniated disc out of place. My muscles were so inflamed that the disc hit a nerve, and my right leg went paralyzed. So I was on bed rest for a cool minute. Couldn't walk, couldn't do anything on my own. Very, very vulnerable point in my life. And the doctors told me I couldn't play sports anymore. So after that, I was like, dude, that's what I spent my entire youth training for.
You were playing soccer too? You said
I was
soccer
doing
or wrestling? You said
softball, mixed martial arts, and wrestling. Yeah.
Okay.
And so after all that childlike hope and all that preparation, down the drain. Once life slapped me in the face, it's like, nah, life is not as predictable as you think, you know?
Reality check. It was like reality check.
Yeah. And so I lost everything. It got to a point where everything was completely depleted because I was just laying in bed for days on end, hours, just doing nothing. I felt useless. And so I cannot tell you how it happened. I had my entire family support trying to help heal me. But then one day I finally gained enough strength back and I was able to walk on my own. I was able to do everything else on my own. And from then on, I was like, Dad, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life, but I know that I was giving this second chance for a reason. And he's like, well, let's go on the streets and figure out, let's ask people what they do for a living and maybe that'll inspire you. So that's how Divine Hustles kind of started.
How long were you paralyzed for? Sorry.
Maybe for like actually paralyzed, maybe for like a week, but they were like pumping me with like a bunch of different pills and steroids. And then I was taking a bunch of antioxidants, but on bed rest. But to walk again,
3 months.
3 months. I was just.
Damn, that's like depressing though. Yeah. Like you could enter depression.
And then this was at 14 years old, freshman in high school.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You're just getting into that new level. That I'm in high school now on this age, my peers. And
so much ambition.
So much ambition, correct.
And then the different steps, from like a wheelchair.
To a walker. To a cane. I had to take a cane to school and I was so embarrassed because, as a kid, you're all in your head about what people think. And so I had a cane looking like a granny going, and then it was just like, oh, it was so bad, but I sacrificed all that all because I cared what people thought. And I remember going home just like crying because I was in so much pain. I could not move. So the injury really taught me a lot. It taught me not to be cocky. It taught me resilience for sure. And it gave me a new sense of faith and hope, you know?
So what was that? What was it that made you come out of that mindset? Like what shifted?
Divine Hustles.
Divine Hustles?
Divine Hustles.
But what were you watching or what did you read? What did you come across where you're like, damn, you know what? I do have a bigger purpose. Like, well, it was just your dad, your family?
No, it was talking to different people. So Divine Hustles, if you guys didn't know, when we first started, we were doing on the street interviews with mom and pop shops, community activists, just anybody that was making a positive change for their community. We would talk to them and have them share their story from beginning, middle, end, and just to inspire others to follow their dreams as well or to do good by their people. And listening to their stories, I'm like, dang, I know I had it bad,
but other people
have stories too.
Yeah,
you know,
correct,
so that really inspired me and it kept my head up. You know,
so you guys would go from shop to shop and ask people, what is their biggest impact to the community, just in the city of Lynwood or all around?
Everywhere.
With Instagram, it opened up the doors to go everywhere. So a lot of people were doing their pop-ups and grand openings, and we went there because I felt that if you're doing a grand opening, you followed your dreams. You're boom, you're gonna cut that ribbon. That's inspiring. Let's go check it out. Let's ask some questions.
And the
free knowledge.
This was after COVID, right? So everybody had lost their jobs and were making a business of their own. They were all self-made entrepreneurs. So
COVID played a big role too.
Yeah.
With it shutting down, it allowed a lot of people to get creative.
It gave fruition to a lot of ideas.
And we came up like,
Oh, so you guys came out Divine Host in COVID?
Right before 2019. So we were trying to go talk to people already, but they said stay inside. Boom, at the beginning. So that was our first that first bump in the road, and we just said that's not enough to stop us. We figured out how we're going to talk to people, and we figured it out, and they opened it back up. When they opened it back up, that was amazing for us. The floodgates opened. Everyone was following their dreams, where they had like some sort of drink, food, mobile barbers. There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
People were making their own masks.
Everything,
like all that stuff.
Hustling
and we
here,
just post everything, tag people, and a lot of love came in from that way. Just supporting folks, telling people. We kind of went around telling people, you guys are doing a good job.
Yeah,
you're doing a good job.
Yeah, giving people their flowers.
For sure, definitely.
I like that.
It's just like real recognize real. Like you know, to some people it might seem like a small accomplishment. But if you've done it already, you're like, damn, I know what this person went through.
It's hard.
It's hard. Yeah, it's really hard.
And if some people, I think during that time, a lot of people have money. Like, they have money, right?
Yeah.
Because the government was giving the money. And I don't know about you guys, but during that time, I wanted to spend money on people that were hustling out of their house opposed to, like, buying stuff from the store.
Yep.
Like, people were, cutting up fruit and stuff, like, selling it from their house or making their own masks. They're doing... different type of clothing and stuff like that, and it was great to want to support those people than the people that are already rich.
Yeah, right. Those were exactly the people that we were interviewing. Yeah.
So did that stop? Did that ever come to a stop where it's like, okay, I think this was our first niche, and recording people and getting the insights of what their hustle is and what their life and their goals have, how they accomplished. And was that did you guys stop doing that, or is this something that you guys put on pause only
there
to
you
continue?
Go.
We put it on pause because
to kind of
it's on pause.
deal with other things and then kind of come back to it and really like take it to the next level.
Yeah, it's on pause because it eventually evolved to our podcast Hustler Tales, and there we had people share their stories as well in more depth.
Yeah.
So after we had put it on pause, we had started our nonprofit and focusing more on that, and it's been a year now.
So at first, you guys were doing a lot of interviews, no events.
Yeah, at first it was all showing up for people, like you said, giving them their flowers, and also doing a lot of community work outside of that, like volunteering.
Us showing up to all those events led us to just say, we want to do one, and that was the back to school one.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people get inspired like that. Like you go and you witness and you're like, maybe I could do this, but I could do this my way.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I want to do this my way.
We were around it so much, it felt familiar and it felt like we could do it
really
too.
did.
Like, okay, so we need this, and that. So
I wasn't afraid.
Like you said, there's a lot of resources. At first, your mind, what it literally does, it limits you right away. Like you're like, I want to throw the event. Oh, but I don't got money. So then your mind's already like, boom, there's a barrier. But like you said, you go to these events, you're like, wait, hey, how much did they pay you to come here? Oh, I give for free. I love you. You're like, what? People are going for free. Like you start opening up to that.
Yeah.
So you start seeing that it's possible, you know?
Yeah.
So I wanted to, like, who's coming up with all these ideas at first? Like, is it you or you guys actually sit down? Like, oh, I want to do a podcast. Let's interview this person. Let's interview that person.
I think one thing leads to the next. The interviews were fun, but then we realized that we wanted more of their story, not just 2 minutes of their time.
Yeah.
Also, they were doing like 2 minutes.
It was real quick stuff.
Our interviews are really quick. It was on the street, on the go. Like we were on the streets, just
That's cool.
What's your story?
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of just evolved on its own. As for the events, I would say it's like a family thing. I get really creative with it and type up some proposals, and then I run it by them, and then they also input what they would like to see. So I would say it's all
we all put it
thing.
together.
Okay.
The family thing. So Divine Hustles is a family nonprofit. The four of us, myself, the wife, and the 2 kids, we all play our role. And like she said, we build an idea together and we throw it out there. If it works, it works. If it don't, we try to tweak it or come back to it later.
Yeah.
So I had a question.
Yeah.
So I know that the last event that was great and was so heart fulfilling for you guys was back in 2023, right?
Yeah.
So what happened in 2024 and what's going to happen in 2025? Are you guys just kind of working harder to come back with a bang? Or did you guys run into something in 2024 that it didn't happen? Or you guys tackled it a different way, maybe something smaller? Or what was it? Because I've been along, the back shadows of what you guys have been doing. So I've been trying to ask these questions as, I come and support and stuff like that. And what better way than to do it here on the podcast? So how has that been working out for you guys?
Yeah, so 2024... That's when we
2023 was the back to school.
back to school.
2024, we took a step back because of
the car because of the car accident.
Something like that.
A car accident.
The way it like foreshadowed. So 2024, I had just started school and like going in person. I felt like a boss woman doing my own thing. And I was driving to school one day. I went to go pick up my little cousin from elementary school. I made a left turn at a stop sign and teed right into another car and totaled both the cars. So that is kind of what set us back with our activity because of what happened.
Yeah.
Like life events just happened.
Just like, I can't get your break, guys.
But it was cool though. Wait, we'll cut this off, but whose fault was it? Like, we'll cut it off the video, but who's fault?
Who did the insurance blame?
Her, baby.
Well, she said, I made a left at the stop sign and then I T-boned. So she knows, like, the totes is there. Like,
you already know.
Hey, but
okay.
you know how it goes when you make those left turns and traffic's coming like this and you got to just inch out.
You got to yield. You got to yield.
I swear, I thought it was clear, but apparently
so
not.
Did they hit you?
No.
Because you turned or you turned into someone?
Honestly, it happened so fast.
They hit her. Yeah, they hit her.
It was in Lynwood?
No, it was in Downey.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, boom. I was like, oh.
Yeah, but like you said, like life just happens.
Yeah.
Like, you have all these things planned. I saw a post one that said, life is 90%, 10% what you plan it, 90% what happens along the way. Yeah, because you plan certain things and it doesn't go a certain way.
Yeah.
Never goes that way, but it's all good because that kept us in the city and we had to just go ahead and evolve from there. And,
that's true.
And say, what are we going to do next? Well, we're not going to give up. We came way too far to give up. That's not what we're going to do. Especially throwing a function like that and being like, that's it, our one and only. So
you guys did the school event and then the accident.
Yeah.
A week later. Less than a week later.
Yeah.
We're still riding the wave.
No way.
So
wow, that's crazy. So
the
that
event was on a
in
Saturday.
2023.
Like early 2023, right?
No, after the event.
2024. After the event.
So 23, we didn't do much for the rest of the year. So which was like October, November, December. We switched to Helen Keller.
Oh yeah.
We started working with Helen Keller.
Yeah.
So Helen Keller took us in and they let us
host our own type of events there, from boys conference, girls conference. We had a spreading love event where we did the free haircuts, and it was under the theme of Valentine's Day. So growing up, my dad would always get us flowers, candy, and like a toy or a plushie. And I really wanted to do this for the kids at Lynwood too. So we got in cliques with Helen Keller Elementary, and we had given out free haircuts, clothes, the same concept, toys, candy. And it was really sweet to see that the kids were loved on Valentine's Day.
So how does that event happen? Because I went to my high school recently, and I want to do an event there too.
Yeah.
But I was like, who do I talk to? Like to my teacher, or because the teacher that let us in was a Cosmo teacher, and we did like a presentation with the podcast and all that. And then I was like, damn, I want to do an event here. Who do I talk to? Like, I didn't know who.
Honestly, we were blessed. So at our back to school event in 2023, the school district saw what we were doing and they reached out to us. Yeah.
It was a lot of people came together for that back to school. The district, the city, all kinds of different pieces were there, and they liked what we did. And Helen Keller especially, because one of the school would happen. This would happen. The school district worker that we were working with got transferred to a school, and she liked what we were doing. She's like, "Hey, can we pull you to the school and focus here on this individual school?" They needed help, resources, and some fresh ideas.
Okay.
So that's where we went.
So it's all like a momentum from the previous.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then the accident.
So that's but that was 24. So 2024, you can say we were working with the schools. We're throwing events and programs at the school.
Schools, yeah.
So if you didn't see us in the streets, it's because we were just dedicated there.
Low key.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like being low key.
But we were learning. We were learning. They allowed us to build our programs there.
Understand children more.
They run our programs there still to today.
Yeah, they do.
So like what kind of program? Can you?
So I remember we came up with a boys and girls conference, and basically it's, how would you call those?
They get entrepreneurs to come in, talk to the kids, and do the...
Like, it's like a platform. So
it's like a panel.
A panel. There you go. That's the word. So it was basically a panel, and we invited our hustlers to come and share their story with the kids, to spit some facts, and maybe they learn or become inspired by that, and then have some like food at the end and some snacks and interactive activities where they can physically make their dreams on paper. So we had them take a picture of themselves, they put it in the center, and it was somewhat like a vision board. So now they have a tangible piece of evidence to look back on when they're grown, and they're like, I remember I said this is what I'm gonna do. Let's see if I actually do it, you know?
So it's a program, and then within the program there's a workshop. And that's what they follow to this day.
I guess that's what you could say.
Okay, dope. That's how I'm imagining it. What was I gonna ask you? I was gonna ask you something. I did see in the answers that one of the questions I sent, you said that your goal was to create more programs, right?
Yeah.
For these schools. So what is one of the programs that you want to implement? And I know there's a difference between elementary, middle,
for
school,
sure.
and high school, you know? So what's one of those programs?
So for me, art has always been near and dear, only because that was one of the big things that saved me during like my lowest times.
Okay.
And I just love it. So I wanted to incorporate that with the students. And right now we're working on, this is kind of exclusive, but we're working on a comic book program.
Okay.
Yes. And so then that way we're calling it Divine Heroes. So these kids get to put down their own storyline or whatever their imagination comes up with to become a comic book of their story of what they want to see or what they want to grow up to become a divine hero.
That was dope.
Thanks.
That's an awesome concept.
Thank you.
I actually did one of those in like middle school, I think. They made me do my own comic. Yeah. Fifth grade, I think.
Hey.
Yeah, my teacher liked Ninja Turtles, so we'll draw like Donatello and the rat, and then we'll put our picture in there too.
That's
and just create a story.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I really love this concept too, because it's not only about the art, and of course it's amazing, but they're learning the concept of storytelling and literature. So it's all well-rounded and incorporates all sorts of different things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where does Divine Hustle go for sources, like for inspiration? Like, who do you guys look up to? What is a big nonprofit that you guys look up to and not wish to be like, but that inspires you and gives you creative ideas? Or maybe it's something that you're just like, man, they're doing something great.
Nipsey Hussle.
Nipsey Hussle?
Nipsey Hussle, he said a lot of good stuff. He said a lot of good stuff. One of the biggest things is all money in. All money in was important.
All money in.
So when I heard that concept,
and
I took
the
it
marathon, like the marathon.
Exactly.
So those two things, all money in for me is, we're not going to pay to outsource this. We're not going to be lazy. We're going to learn this. She learned to host. My other daughter learned to edit. We don't need nobody. We don't got to pay nobody. And it's not like we're not going to try to expand the team.
Yeah.
But this is what we're gonna learn, this is what we're gonna do, and then the marathon. That's for sure. That's what our little slogan is: keep hustling.
Yeah,
Not little
keep
slogan, but
hustling.
our slogan is keep hustling. You don't give up.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, and stuff's going to happen.
Yeah.
So be aware that stuff's going to happen, but you don't give up. You keep
So that's why
hustling
you
for
have
marathon.
Divine Hustles and then the flags for like
Yeah.
the marathon.
I
race.
made
Marathon,
I
so
made
yeah.
the logo.
Okay.
So it's the flags were inspired by
you
Nipsey
know,
Hussle.
you know, recently, like a month ago, my wife was watching an interview with Nipsey Hussle's
Brother?
wife. No.
Oh,
that's right.
London?
Yeah, London.
Yeah.
And then
Lauren.
I was like, oh, you know who she is? She's like, yeah. Like, what? And I'm like, oh, that's Nipsey's wife. She's like, yeah, I know that. And then I told her like, oh, I'm gonna put your Nipsey Hussle song. She's like, I don't know you listen to Nipsey Hussle. And then I was like, bro. And I put on the video, the one that he's in the Mayan ruins.
Oh,
Yeah. I forgot which one. What's the name of that one? I don't think it's Double Up, but he's in the Mayan ruins. But he's talking. But then from there on, that whole week, we started watching like the brother doing the burger spot.
The,
They just opened up the burger spot. So at the barbershop, we watched the whole YouTube or wherever it was at, like the 4 episodes, you know. But I told the homie, like, man, bro, like, I remember when I used to listen to Nipsey Hussle, I'll be like, man, I gotta put in work. Like every time you put him on,
He spits good
like
facts.
he's talking about like business
Business,
and all that,
right?
like
Believing
legal
in
business.
yourself,
Yeah,
too.
so I know like I will use it for like a lot of like when I feel low, I put me a Nipsey song and then it reminds me
You're
like
hype.
you gotta
You're like,
man
yeah,
up,
let's
you
do
gotta
it.
like you gotta man
Let's
up,
hustle.
Going good.
man
Yeah.
up, hustle,
Yeah.
take it as it is. You know, it's like what he create. He has a bar. He's like
That's what I'm trying to do. Hustle
yeah,
and motivate.
he has some like his
Yeah.
bar is just really really good. So yeah, that's dope that it came from that. You know what I am seeing from you guys is that you guys are branding everything.
Yeah,
You know, like,
very
like
important.
divine heroes, and then what was the other one? You're gonna
Hustler
listen
Tales.
to Hustler Tales. So
Divine
everything is
Heroes.
just the branding. You know,
Something about branding's always been big to me.
yeah.
I seen a little bit. I did a little bit of research, and one big thing about brands. Brands is one of the biggest things. It's someone's last name. And I said, well, we don't necessarily want to brand our last name, but we're going to brand something powerful. Divine Hustles is to me very powerful.
Yeah.
Growing up, hustler was a bad thing.
Yeah,
that was a
It
negative,
had a bad
right?
stigma.
Yeah, it did.
And so that's why we threw divine in front of it. And it's people following their dreams.
Yeah.
And when you see the Nike sign, you think of something. When you see this sign, when you see these colors, you think of something. So I'm like, branding is very big. Divine Hustles,
Yeah.
the logo and everything needs to tie into it. That's how I feel. Everything needs to tie into it. That's why you got Hustler Tales.
Yeah.
You got Divine Heroes, and
That's
we're gonna
his first
keep
time.
doing it too.
And you know, it's a paradox in itself because you said like the paradox is just like something that opposes that can't coexist, but it exists. So like divine hustler, like you said, hustler is like the whole opposite of divine. You
Yeah.
know, according to some people.
Yeah.
But once you put it together, divine hustler is just like it breaks that
Yes.
stereotype. You know, so
Yeah.
you could be a hustler and be a good hustler.
And
You
see,
know?
there you go too.
Yeah.
We call people divine hustlers.
Yeah, that's what we call our hustlers.
And
Divine
so
hustlers.
it's wordplay. Wordplay's big. Get you to remember. Get you to remember like,
Yeah.
oh, that's that one brand.
That's that one brand. Yeah.
Yep.
I like that.
Branding's big. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So you asked what was their biggest inspiration, right? I don't know if you guys. You said
From-
Nipsey Hussle.
okay,
Nipsey Hussle.
But from people we know though,
Uh-huh.
I would say from nonprofits would be Local Hearts.
Oh, yeah, for
the Local
sure.
Hearts is foundation is in the city of Long Beach, ran by Tito. He's
Yeah.
dope. He was a music producer back in the day. Has platinum hits with the East Siders, Snoop Dogg and them, and then decided that he's going to follow his purpose. That wasn't his purpose after all. And now he just gives back to community
Yeah.
all day.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. He did his Easter event was cool. Pancakes and baskets. He
Yeah.
gave out
Polly's Project is another good
1,500 baskets.
organization too.
And Poly Project. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Is another the one that's
Is that
Good
like Poly
people.
Pomona projects or is just
the
where is that?
Polly's like the
Poly Projects is autism, feeding the homeless and autism is
Yes,
their big
yes.
thing.
Do you guys know what is it? Big Boys in downtown or something like that?
The burger spot.
No, there's like a Big Boys Foundation.
Are you talking about Homeboy Industry?
I think it's Homeboys.
Homeboy
yeah.
Industries.
Is it
Yeah.
downtown, right? Or is
That's a very big inspiration too from what
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
doing. They give a lot of people a second chance. So
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. So,
who doesn't mess up in life, right?
Bro,
Yeah.
So Divine Hustle, there's more roots to how Divine Hustle started and stuff,
Yeah.
but it came from a mistake I made too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a lot that goes into it. People make mistake. Homeboy Industries dope. They said, okay, you made a mistake. What'd you learn from it? Let's get going. So they got a cafe. They opened up a dog grooming. And then they have, I know they do cooking where I work. They have a whole floor where they cook for the hospital. So they give people work. People second chance. They trust people again. Hey,
I like that.
it's hard to trust someone after they mess up.
It's hard.
Yeah. So right now, what is like? Where are you guys headed to? Like, do you guys want to one day give jobs to people?
For sure.
Do you guys still want to obviously do these events? Like, what's like something like someone you wanted to work with that you haven't made it possible?
To work with, that's a good question.
That is a good question. I never thought about that. I would just say sky's the limit. We're open-minded to different possibilities. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just trying to tie it in more to like, if you could share like, what's your vision, your mission,
so
and your values.
This year, for 2025, we had a goal where we said we're going to throw one event every month where it's going to be free to the community. Just show up. The goal, what we want from that is with COVID and just so much going on in the community, nobody talks with one another.
Yeah.
I feel like if you could talk to each other, we can grow.
Yeah.
Correct.
Getting to know your neighbors is very important. Getting to know your community is very important. So we build real relationships with these people and try to give back as much as possible.
So every month we throw these events somehow, some way. Everything's donated. So there's always going to be, for sure, we always make sure we provide free food, free drink, free games, arts,
and clothes.
And clothing. Those are like our for sure. You're always going to come and get some.
So that's one of our goals is to continue to host those monthly events.
Okay.
And that at all those events you guys gonna have, like that's like your signature where you can come get clothes, food,
entertainment, like a good time.
Entertainment and a good time, right?
Yeah.
You get love. You get that community love. All of a sudden these strangers are talk. So we hosted at the park, the city park in Lynwood. And we just get together. We tell people come through, come enjoy each other's company. And there's always a good story.
It's very emotional, very beautiful. But to hear the reason why they're visiting, the reason why they brought their kids or who they are and getting to know these people, it's even on a deeper level to understand what you're actually doing, the kind of impact you're making.
To the
Some
community.
people showing up that needed the resources we had today. Like we didn't have no baby formula. We didn't have diapers. We didn't have clothes, shoes.
The Valentine's Day one that we did at the park, there was a woman who had 4 kids, and she was telling me that they were living out of the truck that was parked in the parking lot.
Damn.
And the baby.
That's a good story.
Oh my God, it's gonna make me cry. The baby, he didn't have a lot, right? Correct. And he got so excited to see all the toys that were there, all the food that was there, that the fact that they were taking bags and bags and clothes. And she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for taking so much." I was like, "Girl, no, this is for you. Take it, you know?"
Yeah.
And then he goes to his truck and he brings me his favorite toy and he's like, "Here, thank you. This is for you." I was like, "Oh my God." Like, and so I have this little dinosaur now, and it's his little plushie that he gave me till this day. And
So how can you stop, man?
How can you stop?
Like, how can you stop what you're doing?
Yeah,
the momentum is. It's powerful. It's powerful what's going on out there. We didn't know how much support was needed, whether it was community love or diapers and a meal.
Yeah,
We didn't know how much was needed until month 1 in January. We said, "Whoa!" The family living out of a vehicle. They won.
They won the Canes basket.
Canes raffle. So Canes is a sponsor.
Yeah,
They hook up with nonprofits and they give them food and stuff to give away.
Yeah,
And
they were so excited.
That family happened to be living out their vehicle. No, they ain't got much. They won meal. They won a meal for the night for the family.
Got a whole new wardrobe, toys.
Wardrobes, everything. So these are we're seeing how much is helping, how much is needed, and where we're gonna go. We're gonna continue to do this, but you guys are gonna be amazed where we're going. Our next step. So all these events are free. All these, and we're always going to make sure we have one free event. But in order to pay for these events, we need to make some money too. So that's our next step. Our next step is starting to make money with events so we could have these free ones. So private party events. She does art. The other one does film. We're going to get there.
Use our talents to make money so we can make it possible, make these events possible.
Damn.
But there's bigger events. So these little free events are cool, but there's going to be bigger events.
Oh yeah, there's one cooking right now.
We're going to make them where it's inexpensive or affordable.
Yeah.
But you still got to pay a few bucks to get in because it's just going to be too big. It's going to be too big for me to say everything's too.
So
the entertainment
is
going to be big, huge.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask you
You want to
guys.
say it so bad.
Yeah, I know you guys don't want to say it.
Is this like something that's coming up this
Yeah.
year, like for this
This
summer?
This summer, it's gonna
For
be
this summer?
It's gonna be big.
That's
It's gonna be an
And
event,
It's gonna be with Lynwood, or is it gonna be like LA event?
It's gonna be
Well,
Lynwood.
Anybody can go, but the
4th of July or
funding,
what?
Yeah, he's trying to
we got it.
but the funding is going to be for our nonprofit and Lynwood's educational nonprofit they got going on. So we're splitting with them, but the entertainment is going to bring in the money.
Yes,
The entertainment
sir.
is going to be cool.
Okay.
That's awesome.
You know, my dad used to take me to Lynwood, to this park where 4th of July they do a fair in Lynwood. It's a park.
Ham Park.
No, it's Lynwood Park.
Oh,
Lynwood,
Well, I don't
they do
think that's
fireworks
really
and they have
happening
a
like that.
fair.
Fireworks and
they have
do
a fair.
Yeah, they do.
And people are selling
But
like a flea
now-
market.
Now it's more of a carnival where they have
Yeah.
games opposed to an actual
Okay.
fair.
No,
Yeah,
they used
yeah,
to have-
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about like
But-
7
but-
years ago.
No,
8
but
years
yeah,
ago.
years back there would be a fair.
Yeah.
Years back there used to be even sometimes a fair after the parade. After the Christmas parade, there would be like stuff going on right there.
Christmas parade still cracking.
Yeah, it is.
Christmas parades. You know, so there's a lot of things in the.
I wanted to ask, what like your upbringing, regarding your upbringing, both of you guys. Like, was there something that happened in your upbringing that made you want to have this passion to help others and to give back? Because in my personal experience, like just my upbringing, like we didn't have a lot. So now having what I have, I want to teach other people
Right.
how to have it, because I know the struggle, we went through the whole process, but now it's like I do have this passion of just sharing, helping, but it's also because of my upbringing. So I wanted to know that about you guys.
Well, then I'll start and then it'll continue.
Oh.
But for me, it was upbringing was dad wasn't in the picture and mom there were 6 of us and it was a struggle. We were on every assistance in the world. So that alone was like, I don't want that. I don't want to grow up like that, and I don't want to pass that on. Something like that, if you look into that type of community, it's easy to pass on to the next generation.
Oh, yeah.
The next
The
generation
cycle.
falls in that cycle. And I said, that's not going to be me, because that's like to me, honestly, it was like embarrassing. It was embarrassing. I was like, I'm not going to be a man with a family like that. My mom, she struggled, but she hustled too. She was doing her thing. She'd come up on like programs and stuff where they give her free this and that. She'd flip it. She'd take diapers, creams, and all these other little
really?
cleaners and stuff and flip it. She'd take it to where it was crowded. Where does she know it was crowded? At all these county
Farm
buildings.
meets. Oh.
She go to county buildings. So she's at the welfare office. She'll get her check, whatever. And then after, I'm going to hustle these creams, these diapers, and all this stuff while we're just waiting. And that hustler thing, like, you really got to get it. You really got, no one's going to give it to you.
Yeah.
So I took that little formula, what happened in life where this wasn't provided. No one's going to give you nothing for free. You got to make it you got to make it happen. That was I got to hustle. I got to hustle, because everybody has to work. But when you work for someone, what if you get fired?
Yeah.
What if they close down? What if they retire? Then what are you left with?
Yeah.
I said, I can't have that.
You're dependent on someone.
Oh, I can't do that.
Neither can I.
I got to be independent.
Yeah.
Independent and just different inspirations growing up in life. I go, nah. And then Nipsey, for sure, what he said, freedom and ownership. Freedom and ownership. I cannot do it. I got my 9 to 5. I do it because I have to, not because I want to, though.
Yeah, but soon
They're gonna do. My
Yeah.
kids, though, I told them, you're not gonna live that life.
I can't.
It's
No,
not
I
for
can't
you.
do 9 to 5.
No,
I
no,
just
no.
quit my 9 to 5. I did.
Oh, yeah?
I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, me neither. I was doing 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. for 3 months. I was like, nah, I can't do this.
I just don't
Overnight.
like the fact that I can't be independent. I
Yeah.
can't call my own shots. I feel like I was born to be my own boss.
Yeah, like I heard a phrase like, why are you gonna bet on someone else? Bet on yourself.
Exactly.
You know,
You're
like,
putting
just
all your
bet.
time and energy into somebody else's dream.
Yeah,
Instead
like
of
put it on
putting
yourself.
yours.
But I do agree that like like Alex said, you need a source of income to bring capital.
Exactly.
To bring capital.
Exactly.
But I said, there's another quote that I like. It says, your 9 to 5 is not killing your dreams. Your 5 to 9 p.m. is killing your dreams. So what you do after?
What you do after?
Oh,
What you do
yeah,
after?
yeah.
Like,
That's-
like you can't even put 4 hours toward your dreams, but you're
Yeah.
putting 4 hours towards this other person's dreams. Like, that's kind of what I started doing. Like,
Yeah.
just making sure that the time that I do have left over, I'm putting it back into my dreams.
Yeah,
For
our
sure.
dad taught
Time
us
is
that.
valuable.
He's always said that.
Time is valuable. It ain't free.
It's
He's
not
like, that
free.
free time, what you do with it?
Exactly.
Rot your brain or
Yeah.
invest something good.
That's true.
Yeah.
Growing up, they always kept us busy. Even till this day, if we're watching TV, he's like, what are you doing, man?
What'd you do
Get up,
today?
do something. What'd you do today?
What'd you do
like,
today?
So sometimes I get irritated. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, bro, give me a break. But
I'm
I get,
breathing.
yeah.
Chilling.
but I get that it's all out of love and it's all for a reason to build us into the independent women that we're going to become, independent women that I am now, you know?
Correct.
Like to me, one of the biggest things too is like tomorrow's not promised. We don't know
Exactly.
what's going to happen
Exactly.
tomorrow. So I got to get everything off my chest, teach them everything I can now, because if I'm not here tomorrow and they don't know nothing, what kind of a dad was I? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
like the Bronx Tales, nothing worse than wasted talent.
Oh.
yeah. Dude, my daughters, they were born with talent. They were born with talent. So there's no way we're going to go ahead and sit on that and then, nah.
Correct. You said that's your daughter too?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you've seen recently, you know Grant Cardone? You know Grant Cardone?
Grant Cardone, yeah. I
Yeah, do you know Grant Cardone? The güerito, he's a white
Millionaire?
10X. Yeah, 10X. He has the 10X book. 10X conference.
No.
Okay, so he's rich. He has his jet. He teaches people finance. But he has daughters. And one of them is 17, one of them is like 14. And they're getting money. He's a millionaire. But I wanted to ask you this because they asked him that. Like, what type of man, because you were talking about like, oh, you were growing up, you don't want to be this man, this type of man. So now what type of man are you hoping that your daughters marry? Like, what is it going to be for you that's like, because it can't be money. It can't. I know you have to see something because you're saying like your daughters grew up with talent. They grew up with, I know that's going to be an area where you're going to be like, it's going to tick you. So how does that man look for you? I know it's a hard question. It's a hard
deep,
question.
bro.
It's
Diego,
deep.
what the
It's
heck?
deep, but I feel like you have to figure it out, like because
No, I feel it, you know.
If
like,
they decide to get married, if they decide to marry a man, we'll start with that. That's going to be their decision.
Okay.
What kind of person do I want to see them with?
What kind of person?
I'm going to say an honest person, someone that keeps their word. Meaning,
Okay.
so you got a lot of people that are going to have those, I call them cocaine conversations. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go here. I'm going to do that. And after when the high comes down, they're not going to follow through none of that stuff. Now, those conversations are great to have because we're building towards something. It's a plan, right? But if you don't follow through with your plan, you say, I'm going to be here for you. But then you let her down. Oh, we're going to move here. We're going to get this. We're going to do. And you don't do none of that stuff. I mean,
You could tell, right? So you could tell if someone's honest or their integrity too.
integrity means
a
a lot.
hustler?
So
You want to hustle?
Oh, for sure.
someone following their dream for sure.
Yeah.
Someone that's following their dream in their heart for sure is like, well,
Someone
we
that
kind of
has
say is
goals
your
and is
hustler.
driven.
Yeah, you gotta be driven.
Because believe it or not, Keo, like with my son, I know like everybody, they're gonna kill me online if they hear this. But I want to help my son pick his wife too. Like if he's picking someone wrong, I'm like, hey, bro, look, straight
And
up.
that's the truth though.
Straight up, bro. I wouldn't do it.
But it's not
This is
because
why.
you know who he's picking, but you know life.
I know life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am gonna have a say, you know. It's like, hey, this girl's crazy, bro. Like, I'm just letting you know she's gonna crash out. So don't do it. You know, like I'm gonna be there, like.
And if you've been there for them their whole life,
I'm
and
not- yeah.
they're gonna be okay with accepting what you have to say.
Like I'm not gonna force them, nothing, but I wanna be along as they grow up and then let them know, like, hey, look, that's a good decision. That might be bad, but it's up to you, you know? Like I do wanna have a say in that.
You have
You
to.
will.
You had a
You know,
say in
like-
everything else in their life, with
Yeah,
school, what
yeah,
they eat and
correct.
everything.
And hopefully he gets to trust me with that say. Like, you know what, Dad, you are right. I'm gonna take you on this, you know?
Yeah, he has nothing to worry about.
You're
Yeah.
in for a big surprise, let me tell you, bro.
What?
It's
That's
crazy.
not my focus right now.
No, he's telling me, right? You're telling me. He's telling me.
Yeah,
He's
no,
telling me.
what I'm saying is just like sometimes we just want and wish these so much for our children that we get slapped in the face and
for
be
sure.
like, hey, like
For sure.
it's not what you thought. Like,
Yeah,
you know, I'm sure our
correct.
parents, like my dad and my parents probably wanted me to be a doctor, a lawyer, or something like that. But here I am on this podcast. I'm a barber. I have my own
that's dope.
business and stuff like that. So it's crazy how sometimes
Yeah.
you may think you want this for your children. You can only influence them so much.
Yeah.
At the end, they're going to make the last decision. And that's just
Yeah.
that's just a part of growing up.
So at home, we say overall health and happiness.
Yeah.
If that's what that person could provide, health and happiness, then I'm good with that. I'm not upset. But you come with unhappy and unhealthy to my home and stuff, and I got to hear about it. Yeah, it's going to be upsetting.
Yeah.
Especially if you go back to the person you're complaining, then it gets more upsetting.
It gets more. Yeah.
We don't, but no, she's a good kid,
Correct.
good girl. There's never been relationship issues or none of that,
Correct.
no drama or nothing. So
Angelina, you were talking about like that's not your focus right now, right?
Not
so
at
where
all.
obviously I think I could notice you're more for like empowerment, like women empowerment, right? Like women being independent, you know. So what are your personal goals right now with the nonprofit, and then yourself, like for the next 2-3 years? What are you hoping to achieve?
Shoot, that's a big one. Overall, we want to make it international. As for me, I want to graduate. I want to finally graduate.
Okay, where are you going to school at right now?
Right now, I'm at community at Cerritos, getting
Okay.
my associates.
Okay.
The plan is to transfer and study grant writing, so we can
Grant
sharpen
writing?
that skill for
That's actually
nonprofit.
like do you get a degree on grant writing?
Yeah.
Oh damn, that's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the starting goal. But once I graduate from here, I wanted to get my license in barbering.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
real.
'cause,
That's
like-
dope.
That's
That's
crazy.
dope.
I did. I gave him a low taper.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's fire.
damn.
He gets free
I know you
haircuts
told
for
me your
life.
daughter wanted to cut her, but then you told me too. I don't think you told me exactly that it was her.
Yeah, it's me.
yeah, so
Okay.
she another nonprofit organization, St.
St.
Julian
Julian's
Barber
Salvation.
or Salvation, right?
They had a barber boot camp, and I joined. And I was the only girl there, and I had no idea what anything was, what a taper, the numbers, and like even how to hold the shears, and all, it was just all bad.
They did a free boot camp. That's
They did
dope.
a free boot camp, and
That's
they gave
dope.
us the tools right after we
You
graduated.
get to keep it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn, that's hard. We gotta do one.
Hey, what's
Yeah.
up? We gotta
Yeah,
get
do a
into
boot
that.
camp.
So I
That's-
just
that's
cut hair
cool.
on anybody that lets me. I went out to Venice a couple of times to just give out free haircuts to
Yeah.
practice, but he gets free haircuts for life now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you trying to transfer? How long do you have left for school?
I should be graduating
this year.
this year.
This year?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's all happening really fast.
Okay,
So
dope.
I guess
dope,
2 years. I guess
Yeah,
after
yeah.
that, then right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2 more
Now,
years.
You know how like you were saying that you want to work for yourself, you want to be independent. I think one of the, and we're gonna end a little bit with this. One of the biggest problems in the community is, for me, is like education. A lot of
Yeah.
people think education is not necessary. I went to college for 4 years. Yeah, so it's like a middle ground. Like some people be like, hey, I wasted all my time. So me, I always tell people I learned how to start something, how to finish something. I learned how to research, and I learned how to have self-discipline to do homework. You know, so now everything that I got to do, it applies to what I'm currently now. So would you recommend people to go to school, even if they want to be independent?
Great question. I think education is beautiful. It can open up a lot of doors for different people, but I do agree that school is not for everyone.
Correct.
But like I would say 90 to or maybe 85 to 90% of the hustlers that we interview don't have a degree.
They don't, right?
And they bossed up and made something of their own. As for example, like barbering, I bet you just picked it up, right? And you taught yourself, eventually just learned and practiced, and that's
Yeah.
how you got to where you're at today, you know? So like I said, it's not for everyone. It's beautiful. It's great. But if you believe in yourself and you practice and put in that consistency, it's all the more possible to be your own boss.
Yeah. Would you say that high school or college has given you the skills to take Divine Hustles where it's at right now? Has it helped you at all? No? You wouldn't say no?
No,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
everything.
Some-
Wait,
I'm just saying.
time out. Wait. Because obviously you gotta write out these proposals.
That's what I was
Yeah,
just
you're
gonna
right.
say.
That's
true.
what I'm saying.
So you learn all that
That's
stuff.
what I'm
He's
saying.
getting detailed with it.
Yeah. It's,
Okay.
So what I'm saying is like, I feel like every human being can benefit of going to school and getting
Exactly.
a 9 to 5 because
Exactly.
you learn how to
Right.
make life.
Of course,
you
there's
know,
something
like-
to learn. Even my 9 to
communicate.
5 taught me something
Yeah.
And I
too.
feel like education, well, it may have not got Divine Hustles where it's at right now, but
Yeah.
because you're well educated, you are.
It definitely helps.
You
For
know?
example,
sure,
too,
for
like
sure.
before college, I didn't know how to use a laptop.
Wait, what?
I didn't. Before college,
Wait, homie.
I didn't know how to use a laptop. In high school, we never used a laptop in high school. We used the
didn't, was
the laptop. So when I went to college, I bought myself a laptop, and I was like, what is all this stuff? Navigating on YouTube. I have 3 tabs open, writing notes here, doing this. I didn't know how to do that. So college forced me to be able to learn software, apps, Safari, Google, email, slides, PowerPoints. Like it taught me a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
In my experience.
Okay, rewind then. It taught me how to properly write.
Yeah.
It taught me literature etiquette.
Literature.
It taught me social skills and how to communicate more properly.
Presentations, right?
Presentations, definitely. So right now I'm a communications major. So I think that's why it's a lot more easier for me to organize some sort of communication or proposals or even just public speaking.
Yeah. Correct. Because I studied management. So management helped me too with like doing events, organizing, planning, controlling, leading, all that. Before we wrap it up, I do want to end with this question. What's the biggest threat right now to the Latino community in Lynwood and Los Angeles? What is the biggest threat and how can we solve that?
So we did talk about this question. We went over it a little bit and that's a tough one. There's a lot. There's a lot. And what we're doing so every Sunday we show up to the park. We call it Clean and Create.
Clean and Create.
So every Sunday, if anybody out there wants to join us, we're at Lynwood Park, 10 to 12, picking up trash.
Giving out community service hours.
Followed by, with an art station and some snacks. So what that does is the community's coming together. I think one of the biggest problems is communication.
Yeah.
Communication. If we communicate with each other, and that's communication, not just your neighbors, but parents communicate with your kids.
Parents, yeah.
Neighbors communicate with each other. Sometimes the neighbors, we see our kids doing something they're not supposed to be doing, and we turn to. We
You
just
know
see
what
nothing.
I noticed that in a lot of like LA, South Central, there's no neighborhood watch. There's nothing. When you go to Lynwood,
Yeah.
when you go to Lynwood, you go to Norwalk, you're like neighborhood watch. Everything's clean. And I'm just like, why can't we have that in the hood? Like, I don't know what it takes, but I'm just like,
I don't know how old you guys are, but growing up, the neighbors were, if they see you doing something wrong, they were allowed to give you a little good one right quick, and then go tell your mom so she could give you a good one too right after.
Yeah.
But neighbors don't look out for nobody no more. It's communication, in my opinion, because even if you have certain needs that resources are there to provide you with, if you don't communicate, you'll never find them. So we communicate with each other. One thing that comes out of communication too is another person's skills and talents, and maybe we can use that with each other. So that guy knows how to fix this, but I'm taking my car over there, paying 3 times as much when he could have done my brakes. He could have helped me out. This person could help. Communication. But it's deeper than that. What's really needed? What do you feel? What else were we talking
Oh,
about?
dang, you put a load on me.
I said my piece. Communication.
Well, I grew up in Lynwood for a cool amount of time, my entire childhood. I would just say the stereotypes that are thrown at being from Lynwood or being from a hood. But honestly, I don't see anything wrong with being from a hood. We got a tamale lady that comes every weekend in the morning and gives us breakfast. We got the elotero coming, giving us snacks and all that. So I don't really see anything wrong with the hood. I think that's to rephrase your question, the biggest issue. Biggest issue with the Latino communities is that we're heavily stereotyped as something negative when all I see is hustlers doing their thing or people coming together to help each other.
yeah.
And then right there in Lynwood, you can find all kinds of vendors selling everything.
For sure, on every block.
You hit Imperial in Long Beach. You hit Atlantic in Imperial.
The Taco
Those are
Man,
the
the cotton
spots
candy
you find all
man.
different types.
The people who wash the windows.
They're washing your window. They're putting on a performance. They're out there juggling or doing something out there. The
flowers.
flower, the cotton candy.
Nothing but hustlers.
You got to do what you got to do to survive. And
Yep.
some of these people they're surviving because those are their circumstances. But for those that are from here, hey, we got to follow our dreams.
Yeah.
And there's support outside of just resources. Like we appreciate resources, but we want people to learn how to do for themselves.
Yeah.
We can't just keep depending on resources and handouts. You got to learn to do your own too.
Correct.
How do you guys feel about the Lynwood schools?
Oh,
You know, and their programs and stuff like that. You know, like I feel like I'm from Lynwood too. You know,
Yeah.
and I don't have my kids in Lynwood schools.
Norwalk?
You know,
So-
I don't not
Beverly Hills.
but it's just because I moved out of Lynwood. That's why they don't go to their schools. You know,
So-
but what I've heard a lot of, they have different programs. They have I know they have Soleo Academy, which is a different school within the schools of Lynwood. So I know they're trying to evolve and make things a
Yes,
lot better.
definitely.
So I know a lot of work has been done. and we could see the progress. So shout out to everyone that's working out on that.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't see any progress like on the kids sports and stuff like that. I see it's still the same thing. Like the AYSO program, it's the same thing over and over. They don't have any
talked
refs.
about that.
They don't have any coaches. They don't have any volunteers. What can we do to help that out?
That's-
Because at the end of it, it's for the youth.
That's a good question. That's our vision. That's one of our missions, is to be that change within the schools and be able to provide those resources and tools. I was privileged with great parents and a great support system, and I was given all the tools and resources to make my dreams even possible. So we would like to do that for the kids as well. So it's definitely one of our missions. As for what we think about it now, I would like to give them their praise for evolving as well. We recently did a collaboration with Fireball High School. What was that?
Fireball got a lot
This
going
past
on.
weekend,
They got
they have
good
a lot of
stuff.
programs for creatives. So they have a film program, they have a podcast program. They also have
The wellness center
a
is
wellness center. So
You need a
it's-
mental health break. You
mental
need
health
some
break,
free
decompressing.
clothes. They look out.
So they've definitely come a long way.
So how do you get a program like that into school? Like if I wanted to go to Fremont right now, right, and put a podcast school like media,
The kids did it themselves.
the kids do it.
The kids
The
spoke
kids
up and they
stepped
said
up.
what they wanted, and they worked really hard towards that and made it happen. They invited us to their event as a resource booth. They reached out to all the local Lynwood vendors, and we all did a collaborative pop-up and shared whatever resources we could to the community. So the kids are speaking up for what they want.
Yeah, because I wanted to do a panel at my high school during lunch. Like every Monday, we'll have a panel with you two.
It's needed.
And bringing people just lunch. Whoever wants to be there.
Oh, it's needed.
To sit down. Whoever doesn't, they could go do their own lunch. But like you said, like just bring speakers, panel, podcast,
Yeah.
camera, lights, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because that simple curriculum, look at where our test scores are as a country. They're in
Yeah.
the toilet for years, year after year. So why are we still with that same curriculum? Why are we still
Yeah.
reading the same books, teaching the same way?
Yeah.
Let's ask the kids, what do
What
you guys
they
want to
want.
do? What do you want to do when you grow up? And let's teach that.
Mm-hmm.
Why is there no podcast? Why is there no media?
No media,
film?
phone, computer.
We
all that.
don't even use pencil and pen no more. Why do we got any of this stuff laying
Damn.
around?
Yeah.
So we gotta evolve.
Were you guys part of the skate park event that just happened in the city?
That was
of
cool.
Lynwood?
We
were
did
just
show
there.
up.
Yeah.
So we work a lot with Parks and Recs. Lynwood Parks and Recs is
Yeah.
like
Parks and
our
Recs,
partner. We collaborate with them on everything. All our events, they hook us up every time. They let us post up in the spot. They always give us the tables, the chairs, and everything we need. That's our people. So they did invite us to the skate park.
Mhm.
If you skate, go check it
Yeah,
out for
the
real.
skate park in Lynwood.
Yeah, it's a super cool.
Yeah.
That's hard.
I don't skate, but it's dope. And they put I think it's called a pump track in there.
Yeah,
So it's going.
Yeah.
It's cool.
it's cool, man. Check it out.
Can Parks and Recs cooperate with you if you don't have a nonprofit? Like, what if you just
Yes,
have like
it
an
will.
LLC? Like,
We didn't have we've
didn't.
been working together for let's say 3 years with them, and we've only been less than 1 year with the nonprofit. So
Yeah.
okay.
they definitely worked with us. They were the reason we got into the city hall for the back to school.
Yeah.
So the city hall, that area, they rent it out. And so they said, we'll cover those fees, or they'll do the paperwork where they covered everything. So they're cool people. Those people are ran by City Park is ran by two brothers who grew up in the park and understand how much that does for a person's life.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's family.
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot of dreams trying to grow right there at the park. There's a lot going on. It's love the park, man.
Yeah.
I love being outdoors. So them clicking up with us that was cool.
And they
Blessing.
just renovated also a part of the park right outside
Yeah,
of
the mega park.
The mega park.
Yeah.
The mega park.
That's where we host our cleanups. You
So
know,
the
gotta
mega
keep
park-
a clean environment for the kids.
They call that the best park in the nation.
Yep. It's
Lynwood has it
giant.
now.
Oh, damn.
They got something to show.
Yeah.
I gotta go
Yeah,
visit.
it's pretty cool. It's
I'll
pretty
go
cool.
visit.
It's new. It's just a few months open actually, right?
Yeah, it's a baby.
That's what we
No.
take care of every Sunday. You can find us there, like I said, 10 to 12.
Cleaning
We're cleaning
up.
up. They gave us that. That's for the community. That brings families together. You should see how much fun, joy, laughs are going on there. And the babies are running around in trash and
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
So we gotta
they
do our
come in
part.
color. They draw.
So we gotta do our
That's
part.
cool.
When
Yeah.
we give out toys, they immediately play with them and throw them down the slide.
There's a certain item at every cleanup. Same dirty item we always find. So I feel like if we're not there, it's real nasty.
Yeah.
The streets are dirty. So
Yeah, they could be, man. Especially around that area. I know that's
Yeah.
I know what
more
it
like
is.
the darker side.
Cigarette butts.
No.
Nah, I kid.
Diapers, bro.
Diapers? Whoa.
people
yeah.
change their babies and throw the diapers in the
Yeah.
parking
Oh,
lot.
I hate doing that. I have bags for my diaper.
Don't litter, y'all. Don't litter.
Wow,
Yeah.
we're gonna wrap it up already.
So you can find Divine Hustles on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and .org on the website. Thank you guys for everything. Thank you guys for having us. Personally, I don't got no social media. I'm too busy with all that stuff, all
Yeah.
the Divine Hustle
Dadager.
stuff.
Thank you guys. This was so much fun. It was so nice to share
Lots
a
of
story. There was definitely some questions in there that I was not expecting. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It caught me off guard. I like that. As for people watching, I would say keep your head up. Keep hustling. Don't give up on that dream. You'll find it somehow. Just do it. As long as you stick with it, it's going to happen. Doors will open up and you'll just make it happen. Please, we need true hustlers out here making a change for the better. So remember, be kind, support each other, and as always, keep hustling.